Hey everybody, I'm Misael. I am the DM for our Wednesday D&D game, Ravenwood Academy, and today we'll be talking a little bit about how that came to be and what I draw inspiration from. This campaign, I made it to be almost as free as we could possibly make it for our players to have the most freedom that they could have. Exploring any areas of any sort of fiction that they could have, if you've watched any of our episodes, you've seen that we've already tapped into Anya, one of our friend Veronica's universe, and we go there and we do some missions and we explore and whatnot, and we do some fighting, but that's pretty much the whole idea around it. Is I hated that we kept changing campaigns so frequently in order to suit different moods and different themes, that I was just like, you know what? Let's do a one-fits-all. Let's do a one-fits-all so that everyone can play what they want to play, go anywhere essentially, and just have fun. A lot of inspiration came from, for me at least, it came from Kingdom Hearts. The ability that they have to travel from world to world and, kind of fix certain things and meet all these cool characters while still having like a main home that they're from is where I get the idea of being able to travel from place to place. As for the school setting, a lot of that comes from Harry Potter, and I haven't really watched or read all the movies or books, but it's essentially like my take on what one of those schools would be like without all that crazy disaster that happens, and this one famous kid. It's like just a school of magic and people being trained to become better versions of themselves. Shadows are beings of just pure evil, of just nothing but malice and hatred. They act solely on destruction and only on instinct. They don't ever stop to think about what's happening or anything like that. I think the most interesting aspect of them is how they're only weak to one type of damage and resist all others. Why shadows? Going back again a little bit to Kingdom Hearts, I like the idea of how the Heartless are immune when they're flat on the when they flatten out onto the surface. And so I wanted to play a little more with that because I liked the aspect of having certain enemies be able to run away. In most D&D games that we've played, the players don't ever allow that to happen. They're always like crazy murder hobos that are like, let's go after this guy, and literally waste all of our spells, items, and everything else, our limbs and everything, until we get them. Like, we won't stop. So I like the idea of these unknown creatures that no one really knows too much about, that we don't know where they came from or why they're still around or how they're able to travel through multiple dimensions, but there's still a problem. And it's something that the hunters have to do something about. Hunters are what I can best describe as like the multiverse's superheroes, and like almost these savior type characters. These highly trained, very intelligent people, warriors that have been hand selected from their universes because of their potential and their powers and all things like that. They go to the school, they get trained up, they get promoted to hunters, and then they go out into the multiverse, defeating shadows and preventing certain outcomes. An SS is, I came up with the idea of an SS, a little bit of a mix between a ghost from Destiny and the Rotom Pokedex from the most recent Pokemon, actual Pokemon game, Sun and Moon and Ultra Sun and Moon. I want it to be almost like a little personal assistant where you guys it would just make it a little bit easier, and also to give me a voice in the group and suggest certain things that I want to like hint towards, or I just thought it would be fun to have a little cutesy, almost like a little iRobot floating around with you guys, adventuring, and I wanted the SS to be a little bit more important and necessary to the group and to the party and to the story than just being a friendly robot assistant. I wanted it to be almost crucial to your guys', your communication with other people, to being able to absorb the shadows and get your glimmer and all things like that. My favorite element of the world this far has to be the element of mystery. How you guys keep going to multiple places and not knowing what certain things are, but the fact that you can tell something is important enough that it will come back later on, and you guys will be able to interact with it later on, and it does play a part into the story. You guys are not, at least the players are not dumb. They know D&D, they play a lot of video games, so they know stories. When you interact with something for the first time, you're like, this is important. Although we don't know what it is just yet, it does play something into the future. All of Ravenwood, campus grounds. You guys haven't really done too much exploring in terms of Ravenwood campus ground. In fact, you guys have explored more outside of the map instead of actually in the map. You guys are kind of like, yeah, this is campus town, no big deal. We're not gonna do anything about it. There's so much stuff here that you guys still don't know about, that you guys haven't explored. I can name 3 or 4 areas that you guys haven't even touched. So I'm excited for you guys, all of that. But mainly, the one I'm really excited about, because it's the most recent idea I've had, probably is going to be the ruins to the west, is what I'm excited for you guys to touch on. My first campaign was a campaign that I called Talons, or also Skyfall. It revolved around the player's hometown of Nescadia was shot out of the sky one day by these unknown soldiers. After relocating in a less than desirable slum-like town, the players were then tasked to meet with certain world leaders and ask them if they could grant us permission to stay on their town or on their land. But mainly it revolved around certain key parts of our players, certain key parts of them that they didn't know played a bigger part into the world. And almost that journey of discovering who they are, where they come from, and how they play a bigger part in this world. The other one running, Tang's Adventure, is what it's called. Tang's Adventure has to do with a young monk named Tang, created by Tito, who's currently playing Shen in our story. It was almost a journey of self-discovery and discovery about what had happened in the history of the monk monastery and what is to come. A big evil is lurking in the background, and the party slowly started picking up on it enough to know that something is up. The third campaign that we ever ran, we only ran for about 3 or 4 sessions before we started this one, was D&D Hardmode, is what I called it, because it was where we, were as close to the rules as possible. Previously, I played with the mentality of like, oh, I want the players to have fun. It's not going to be the DM versus the players where I'm just trying to kill them all the time. D&D Hard Mode was exactly that, though. Me, as a DM, trying to kill the players non-stop and them having to figure out a way around it. So much so that I banned weapons in all major areas. The possession of metal was near impossible, so they were walking around with makeshift weapons, like rusty or like logs tied together and whatnot to form these very basic weapons. And I sent them to jail in their first session. I like bringing old characters back from other campaigns because I already spent so much time working on them, and I like the idea so much, and so do other people. There's a reoccurring wizard named Tace who has split himself amongst multiple personalities and multiple universes, and I keep having him be a recurring character, so you guys will be like, almost like Where's Waldo? Like, you're looking at the campaign and you're like, okay, where does this character fit in? I know he's in here because I like to include him in everything. Where is he? And as for player characters, I like showing them because I like showing what I think would have happened if those campaigns wrapped up. What the end goal was, seeing, your character, grow up have a position of power and, almost, have this family and, be happy and things like that. It's like a nice little end to the campaign. All right, everyone, thank you for sticking around and watching as we poked in my brain and learned a little bit more about Ravenwood. You can catch us live Wednesdays at 5 o'clock CST. The link is going to be in the description below.
Recording?
1, 2, 3.
I'm an idiot. Okay. Okay, dude.
1, 2, 3. All right, and that has been poking at my brain and a little bit. Oh, fuck me. I forgot to say thank you for watching. All right, well, thank you for watching for today's video. Fuck me. All right. Okay. I don't know what you want, bro. I don't know what you want.
As long as you're good with that.
I don't know. It's fucking. We might have to redo it. I don't know. I'll have to see it.
That was tight.
If I get it written down, bro, I got it. If I get it written down, I got it, bro.